Hi everybody, welcome to another tutorial on Roland Zenbeats. Today we are going to look at the drum instrument or the drum editor. So let's start. Let's create a new song. And here we are inside the drum editor. And as you know, if you followed the previous tutorial, if you click on the X, you exit that and you are on the loop builder view. You can also switch to the timeline view depending on what you prefer to use and what you need to create in what way. So let's focus on the drum instrument, and we have one by default which has been created when you create a new song. So let's delete these regions. So let's click on the settings and select delete. Let's create a new one, double clicking. Here we go, and position it at the beginning, and then let's double click again to go inside the drum editor. Let's remove the on screen instrument view, clicking on here. Here we go. So we maximize the screen for using the drum pattern or the drum editor. So typical view on of a drum editor. So here we have a different sound, so we can audition them. So kick, rider kick, snare 90, etc. Perfect. It's a grid as usual. At the moment we are by default in one measure, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different bits in the measure. So you can start straight away creating your pattern. So this way, 4 beats for the kick drums in one measure. Let's click play to listen. And the reason that you don't listen and you don't hear anything at the moment is because if you go back, you are on the timeline view. Let's select the loop region like so that it will cycle through this measure. Okay, let's double click on it. Let's click play again. Perfect. And we have also active the setting to loop as well. And you can proceed like this and create your pattern. Etc. Of course, if you're not happy with the selection, just click again and you can remove, in this case, the sound you selected for the particular space in the rhythm, in the pattern. Okay, if you need to use an additional instrument or an additional sound in your drum pattern, click on the plus sign here. There is where it says drum sound. It opens this window. Here you can search. You can also select what type of categories you want to use for the sound, all users, and also the one pre-installed. When you are here, you can choose by different category, which is very useful. For example, 808. And you can audition sounds. And when you find the one you like, click on the plus sign. And your new sound will appear here, which you can audition again. And you can start insert it in the pattern you are creating. Okay, this is one way to create your pattern. Okay. Another way is clicking on this icon, which will change the view of the drum editor. It will become like a timeline view. And it's quite interesting, as you can see. If you click again, you go back to the grid view. You don't have the selection of the cursor. While instead in this timeline view for the drum editor you do. And if you click on that, you have the usual selection where you can select for the cursor, you can select multi-select, delete, cut, copy and paste, and also paint and split. So we are in selection mode, so you can click on individual sounds. You can select the lasso function, and then you can move around what you selected. At the moment we have the snap settings enable, you can change with acting on the arrow, the duration left and right, like so. You can of course undo and redo as you please, and so on and so forth, right? So quite versatile. One other thing which is quite cool, if you select, if you change the cursor selection, you select paint. Look what it does. I click and hold and then move. There you go. So you can quickly paint different notes. Let's try again. So if I do it from the beginning here, click and hold and move. Look, it's quite cool. You can really create quickly the rhythm that you need. So for example, let's say that I remove the close hats here and I want to do them quickly, alternating. Here we go. Perfect. Let's click play. So I think this is quite a cool view. Use your functionality here for your cursor. So as I said, you can select each one. You can do a lasso selection. Then you can do multi-select. So you keep clicking to select multiple. Then you can delete the one which you have selected, like so. Let's click undo at the moment. You can cut them, and then you can paste them again. Remember, the paste functionality doesn't paste immediately. You have to click with the cursor where you want to paste. Let's click undo at the moment and undo again. And then you can paint, which we have seen these already, or if you have one item selected like so, you can go to the split and decide to split if you can do it, depending on the selection of that you have on the snap. So let's say that I have a longer duration of that note, like so. So we click on split and we go here like so, and we split that note into two. So if I go back on select, you find that there are 1 and 2, which can be very useful. Remember, you need to pay attention to the selection on snap when you are actually performing a split. So let's go back to select in terms of your cursor. Let's click undo to go back to where we were. Here we are. Something else that you can do, and let me go back to my grid view, which is my preferred one, is to change your default drum kit. You click in here where it says default, it opens a new window, usual theme. You can choose different, if you to see all the drum kit, the user one or some of the pre-installed one. You click on one and it will change your drum kit, and you can click play. As you can see, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed when I close the window is because I haven't clicked on the plus sign. So let's click plus, and the changes are applied. Of course, you can move left and right here to change your drum kit. Okay. The next thing is to actually, if you don't know what pattern to create, you can choose from a library. So for example, you click on here where it says pattern, you open up again a new window. Again, you can select to see all the patterns, also some users one that you created. You click on a pattern and it will audition it immediately and also apply in preview mode the changes on your editor. Of course, if you exit from the window, they're not applied. So you have to click again on the plus sign. Again, you can move left and right to go to the next preset. One thing to note, in this particular preset has actually 4 bars. How do you see that there are 4 bars? You just look at the bottom here where it says 1. You have a which stands for the first bar, the second, the third, and the fourth. If you have select follow, it will actually follow between one bar to the other. So let's click on the first one and let's remove the follow. Let's see what happens. Let me activate follow now. Okay. The reason that it doesn't change is because we have only one measure in the timeline. So let's close this view. Let's select that region, extend that to a list 4. Let's go back to the drum editor and let's click play. And I forgot, let's change the looping setting because it's still looping on the first bar. Let's click play again. As you can see, it's looping now between the different bars. As I was mentioning a moment ago, if you remove the follow and press play, it actually plays the different bars, but inside the editor is not following on the screen the different bars. Okay, perfect. You have a selection here on the top left hand side to act on the pattern size. In this case, it's 4 bars. You can change the size of the pattern. The time signature is driven by the initial setting, which are here for the song that you have selected. So you need to change those to be applied. You can play the note in the editor at the moment it is off. What this means is that if you click at the moment somewhere, it doesn't produce a sound, or if you unclick it. If you select play notes in the editor, when you select it, it will produce a sound. Of course, it doesn't produce a sound. It doesn't play the sound when you remove the particular sound from the grid. You can clear the row which you have selected. You can clear everything and you can export it as a MIDI. So if we have, for example, the hats here selected and we go to this menu and we click clear row, it will delete that. If you click clear all, it will delete everything. And of course we can undo. And if you want to export it as MIDI, you click on export MIDI, give it a name and then save it. Okay, next what I'd like to show you is automation. Let's click on this button. It gives you the selection to add a new automation. Let's click on it. Let's select, for example, volume. Here we are, and it gives you the free option here on the top. Paint freely or by lines. Let's click freely, like so, and let's do an ascending version of automation for the volume. And as you can see, plotted all the different points, and you can continue to change this as you wish, like so. Or you can use the line tools. As you can see, it works as a line, which gives you probably a more accurate or precise automation if you wish to do so. Or you go back to the initial select for your cursor, and you can move individuals points, which can be actually quite cool. As you can see also, when you have selected a point, you can also delete it. And now, if I click play, you will hear the automation which has been applied. The other thing I want to show you, if I exit from there and exit from there, you can see the automation as well on the timeline here. Okay, let's double click on the pattern editor. Let's click again on the automation. Now you have additional functionality. You can edit the automation for the volume. In this case, we have created only one automation. You can remove the automation. In this case, it gives you again the selection of which one you want to remove. And of course, you can keep adding additional automation, which is really important. Okay, so we have seen the setting. The next thing I want to show you is, of course, the additional setting as it is standard in Zenbeats. So if you click on this arrow at the bottom left, you expand the setting for the editor, and it reveals additional settings. So in this case, for example, let's go to the top. It reveals the waves and for that particular sound. It also tells you what stretch mode is being used, either the smart or the vanilla. It tells you the direction. It's not always easy, by the way, to distinguish the different stretch mode. It really depends on the waves you're selected. The direction forward, so or reverse. Very easy to follow if you want to mute that, if you want to solo that, if you want to add an effect. And if you do, it opens up the windows of the plugin where you can select the different plugins. For example, let's select only the Zenbeats plugins and let's add a delay. Okay, and here we'll show you that it added a delayed effect, which I will go through in a different tutorial. So let's close that. And as you can see here, you have the delay effect, and you can continue to add other delays. You can set the gain, and you can also set the tune. You can act on low and high, so let's click play to hear the difference. And you can add, as you can hear, there is the delay which is which has been applied. You can act on the pan, left and right, and you can have also a choke effect. Just click on to activate it. As you can see, the choked effect was applied, and you can hear it properly. Okay, let's go also inside the timeline view for the editors. And when you are here, you find that the settings here will change. And this is quite a useful view because you can select all the nodes like this. And if you've done that, you can move them with the cursor. Right, left, up and down, which is very important. You can set the velocity, you can quantize, and if you have a particular note selected, then you can also move it like so. Okay, you can decide to quantize it. As you can see, it moved and it's been quantized. You can change the start, the end date, and you can act on the strength. You can select everything, or you can clear all. So very cool indeed. And that's all I wanted to show you in this video. So I hope you find this useful, and you can, of course, apply the learnings from the tutorial. See you next time. Bye.